on News 5, cemeteries in crisis. Families already grieving the loss of a loved one, also burdened by atrocious conditions at cemeteries across Northeast Ohio.
How would you feel going to your son's grave and seeing his headstone underwater? One woman said she went and couldn't find her, I think it was her dad, didn't know where he was buried at. He wasn't in the spot he was supposed to be.
We followed this problem for months, and just last week, the state passed a new law to address these growing complaints.
But some grieving families tell News 5 they're not sure it does enough. Tonight, 5 on Your Side investigator Joe Paganakis digs into this new law, and Joe, experts say Ohio cemeteries, they have money problems.
And Rob, the people that we talked to say those financial issues are causing some grieving families to deal with customer service nightmares.
We needed someone to guide us through this.
Donna Williams lost both of her parents in just the past year, turning to Rest Haven Memory Gardens in Avon for their burial. Her family looking for support from the staff.
Empathy, sympathy, condolences, not someone reaching into our pockets.
Donna says Rest Haven kept trying to up the price and wouldn't let them bring in their own memorial company.
That they were going to charge me additional fees and that their groundskeeper crew were going to put in my parents' upright marker.
Donna says it triggered an emotional 4-month battle before Rest Haven finally let her family bring in their own headstone.
It was horrible. It was a horrible sight. It was horrible.
Mary Smelser says she'll soon file a lawsuit against Rest Haven and is now working on having the body of her husband Robert removed from the Avon Cemetery after she says Rest Haven was unprepared and disrespectful at her husband's August 24th funeral.
There was nowhere to sit. There was no tent for us to sit under. And there was this digging machine sitting there.
News 5 received complaints from 7 other families about Rest Haven just days later, including former Rest Haven Family Service Advisor Brittany Halligan.
It was very difficult. That was why I left. I morally could not continue working and doing that to people.
Brittany quit in 2017, saying service at Rest Haven was focused on sales and not families.
It's not 1, 2, 3, or 4 cemeteries. This is a widespread problem.
When these things happen, it puts a cloud on the whole industry.
Jim Milano, president of Milano Monuments, serving Northeast Ohio for nearly 50 years, agrees cemeteries are feeling financial stress. The industry is changing and believes it's having an impact on customer service.
What no one saw coming was the rise of the cremation rate. In Cleveland, roughly, we're at about 55 to 60% cremation.
And while Milano says there are many great cemeteries serving families, with fewer burials comes shrinking revenue and customer service issues, requiring greater oversight from Ohio's Cemetery Dispute Resolution Commission.
I think there should be an inspection and really an audit.
Milano says annual mandatory inspections at Ohio cemeteries are desperately needed. But the Ohio Department of Commerce told News 5 just 2 employees are committed to keep watch over more than 4,100 cemeteries across the state, and that the investigations into dozens of cemetery complaints filed with the commission annually are led by a volunteer board that meets just 4 times a year.
But there needs to be guidelines and regulations set up to protect people that aren't going to ask questions.
The state of Ohio now responding to growing cemetery complaints, signing House Bill 168 into law on October 29th, adopting 7 new standards for reasonable maintenance requirements at cemeteries across the state.
A cemetery filled with people's loved ones, and they're failing miserably.
And Rest Haven's parent company Stonemore Properties responding in a statement, admitting in some instances it has fallen short in serving families, but it's now working to address these issues. Problems families like the Smelsers insist need even more state resources and accountability.
I just don't want anybody else to have to go through this ever. It's horrible.
And Milano believes the cemetery board should be made up of a more diverse group of people, including having a citizen on the board to address cemetery issues. Right now, those board members are appointed by the Ohio governor. Reporting live here in Cleveland, I'm 5 on Your Side investigator Joe Paganakis.